All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashach, Malak Yahushai. That is to say, Yahweh, being named the Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahweh Shai, being named His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Brother Gasadia from WFI Jersey, Philly. And as you see in the title of the video, we want to provide a quick update through the Spirit. If the Lord put in our spirit to go a little longer, all praises. But nevertheless, the U.S. is moving nukes over to the U.K. for the first time in 15 years. And also, you still have a little bit more that's going on with the Texas civil war in our border front, and those rumors are continuing, right? So we want to go into the different things that's happening in the earth right now on this early Shabbat, right? Most High willing, everyone that's tuning in, and Lord willing will tune in, is keeping the Shabbat, right? Being orderly, right? Keeping watch, being diligent, and making their call and election sure in these last days, right? So we want to kick it off, right? We want to kick it off with the book of Isaiah, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 21, and I'm going to start at verse number 8. Isaiah chapter 21 and verse 8. It says, "And he cried, a lion, my Lord, I stand continually upon a watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights." So we know that the spirit that the Most High wants on us in these last days is to keep watch, right? To keep watch, to be diligent, right? Like I mentioned earlier, to make our call and election sure. Knowing that these different things are happening, it wouldn't be wise to keep watch and not get yourself ready for the day of the Lord. While we keep and watch, that means we want to also cleanse ourselves and purify ourselves in the word of the Most High God, right? So if you got to fast additionally this upcoming week, then do what you got to do. If you got to pray some more and you maybe only praying 2 times a day, you need to pray 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 times a day, right? If you only at a certain level right now, reading and studying, and maybe you want to increase that because you want to lay it all out there, knowing that all hell is about to break loose in the earth, right? And without further ado, we want to get right into it, right? So, like I said, I titled the video, "The U.S. moves nukes to the U.K." Now let's I'm gonna share my screen so we can get right into this thing, because this is big news. Now, Lord willing, you can see my screen, right? But as you can see, this is the Telegraph, right? By this is one of the sources of Yahoo News, right? And Salakia, give me one quick second. Okay, come. All right, just to make sure we're in there. So this is the Telegraph. This is January 26th, right? This is just yesterday at 2 p.m. It says the U.S. to station nuclear weapons in UK to counter threat from Russia. Now, the reason why this is big is because it's the first time this happened in 15 years. 16 years, actually. The last time this happened was 2008, and I believe it's going to talk about it in this article. It says the U.S. is planning to station nuclear weapons in the U.K. for the first time in 15 years as the threat from Russia increases. It says the Pentagon document seen by the Telegraph revealed procurement contracts for a new facility at RAF Lincoln Heath in Suffolk confirmed that the U.S. intends to place nuclear warheads 3 times the strength of the Hiroshima bomb at the airbase. It says the U.S. removed nuclear missiles from the U.K. in 2008, judging that the Cold War threat from Moscow had diminished. So back in 2008, they said, look, Russia pretty much, they don't really want it. They don't really want it. Let's take the nukes away. And since then, under Obama, even under Trump, the tension between Russia, well, I don't want to say fully under Obama, but the tension from Russia was mitigated. But under this man, Sleepy Joe Biden, Creepy Joe, Epstein Joe, you have the greatest threat right now to America so far, as far as a foreign country, being Russia and in its different Iran and the different leaders that they work with as well over in the so-called East or the East. You have right now Russia's pretty much on the brinks of going to war with NATO and America, and that's biblical prophecy. The Lord speaks about that in Jeremiah the 50th chapter, Jeremiah the 51st chapter. We understand that Russia is going to be the last one in power. That's Revelation the 13th chapter and the second verse. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 9 to 10. You understand? So the Lord speaks about that. Second Ezra chapter 12 and verse 26, speaking about them being the last of this eagle, right? Which is biblically speaking Esau, pursuing the book of Obadiah, right? And countless other precepts. So we know that Russia is going to be the last one in power as far as Esau is concerned. That's Ezekiel, the 38th chapter and the 39th chapter. Gog and Magog and Tabal that's going to come up and try to fight against us when we're back in our land. The Lord also speaks about that in the book of Micah, the 5th chapter, in the 4th verse on down, when Yahweh Shai is going to be our defense with the angels and the different men that the Most High is going to raise up in that day, right? So we know these different scriptures that the Lord is telling us is going to happen. All we are doing right now is just playing out before us. It's like you already know the plot, the synopsis, right? The storyline, so to speak, of a movie, right? Of a book, of your favorite TV show. And then you just press and play just to see how it's going to unfold, right? So let's continue on. Again, it says the U.S. removed nuclear missiles from the U.K. in 2008, judging that the Cold War threat from Moscow had diminished. The disclosure comes in the wake of warnings that NATO countries need to ready their citizens for war with Russia. Now, we know in the Bible, the Lord tells us that there's going to be nukes, right? Let's get into this real quick. Let's go to the book of Psalm, chapter 7. The Lord tells us that there's nukes in the Bible, that there's missiles in the Bible, right? This is the book of, now, when you read the Bible, it's not going to say that there should be a nuclear warhead. That's not anywhere in there. It's not going to say that. See, when you read the scriptures, let's get this precept, right? These different things are written in code, so to speak, and you gotta shed the light upon it if you have ears to hear, so that all these things can be revealed. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 78 and verse 2. It says, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. So these different things in the Bible is written as dark sayings. For something to be dark, meaning you need to put light upon it. It's hidden. It's not for everybody to see. So the things we want to show you through the Spirit is that the Lord, let me get another precept. The Lord, he speaks in these similitudes so that we can, when we read it, we can have the understanding once the Lord shines his Holy Spirit upon us, so that those things can be revealed to us, right? And it's the book of Hosea, chapter 12. Because real quick, what's the point of the whole world knowing about this? If the whole world knew exactly how everything's going to take place, then wouldn't the world, make themselves ready to the different things that is written in the Bible? It's not for everybody. This Bible isn't for everyone, right? It's from the Most High to his chosen people. And it's the book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse number 10, right? I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, right? So you see, we're going to find some things in the book of Psalm that's also found in the book of Isaiah. When we read the book of Isaiah, you'll find some things in the book of Jeremiah. Some of those things in Jeremiah is also found in Ezekiel, which is also found in Second Ezra, which is also found in Revelation, which is also found in the book of Daniel, and so on and so forth. It says, I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Right? So let's go into it. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 7, and I want verse 12. Psalm chapter 7 and verse 12. It says, if he turn not, he will whet his sword. He had bent his bow and made it ready. Right? So what is the Lord talking about? Bending his bow and making it ready. Let's actually pull this up on the screen as well. Slack you. I want to show you something. Right? Let's pull this up. Because what the Lord is talking about, it's not talking about an actual bow and arrow, right? The modern day bow and arrow is none other, right, than these missiles, right? These missiles and the missile launch platforms that they use. Right? Let's see this right here. Perfect example. There we go. All right, so let me share my screen. I want to show you this, most I will. So as you see right here, right, this is known as a rocket launch system. A rocket launch system. Then they have multiple different variations of this rocket launch system, right? Sometimes they can launch it out of an airplane, right? Sometimes they have these different ground units, as you see right here. But the point of the matter is, just like a man were to take a bow and put it in his, take an arrow and put it in his bow and pull back the arrow and then launch it from the bow, and that's how the Most High is going to launch these missiles in the earth, right? So like we mentioned, that's a dark saying. That's a similitude. David didn't, remember, this is the Iron Age. There was no machine guns. There was none of your Beretta 9mm. There was none of Salakia. Let's say it, right? But there was not all praise the Most High. And there was none of those different RPGs or tanks. There wasn't no attack helicopters, right? This is the Iron Age. Really, I believe before the Bronze Age, really. During David's time, right around 1071 BC. That's when David took rulership. So we're talking about what? 3,000 years ago. So let's continue.
This is America's M270 rocket launcher.
All right. So I want to play that just because.
This is America's M270 rocket launcher.
Okay, maybe we don't want to play this audio. All right, you see that? So like we mentioned, when you launching off an arrow from a bow, where you have to actually, pull back the arrow, and you can fling it and let it go into the earth. Now, this is the equivalent of this missile launch system and how the Most High has it set up. And you notice it's always pointed. It's always arched. It's always arched in a certain angle in the earth. Same way you would do with a bow and arrow.
Rockets have been a staple of land warfare for centuries, but it wasn't until the latter half of the 20th century that they became a permanent addition to the U.S. Army's arsenal. Ironically, the Army's program to develop multiple battlefield rocket artillery to fight the Soviet Army drew inspiration for its rockets from Moscow's wartime Katyushka multi-tube rocket launchers. Battlefield rocket use dates back to the 13th century China. Although China is lauded for inventing gunpowder and derided for promptly using it for fireworks, the reality is more complicated. China did use them for war and even invented multiple tube rocket launchers capable of launching up to 100 projectiles. Rocket artillery fell out of favor for hundreds of years, but by the mid-1930s, the Soviet Army had started to field the first modern rocket artillery units. Unlike traditional gun artillery, which used a powder charge to propel a shell through a gun tube, an artillery rocket uses a continuously burning rocket motor to travel to target. The upside is that instead of a single gun tube, several tubes can be clustered together and ripple-fired.
And let's just look at that. To be honest, that's amazing. All praise to the Most High. The Lord allows these heathen to come up with new ways each and every day to destroy ourselves. This isn't aimed at us. We don't have a military setup. We're not doing conventional warfare. You understand? Our warfare is a spiritual warfare. Right? So, but let's check that out again. Look at these missiles just going off in a concession.
Is that instead of a single gun tube, several tubes can be clustered together and ripple-fired mere seconds apart. As a result, rocket artillery has a faster rate of fire than tube artillery, although reloading takes longer. The Soviet Union relied on rocket artillery extensively during World War II, massing large numbers of truck-mounted multiple rocket
Right. But we get the point, right? We get the point now. Most High willing, right? So we can come back over here, right? So we get the point. All praise to the Most High. So let's continue on, right? Let's get another precept. Actually, I'm gonna finish that out. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 7, and verse number 12 again. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He had bent his bow and made it ready. He had also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. So that's what the Most High has set up against the wicked. If the wicked doesn't turn back, which we know they won't because they're prophesied to be destroyed. The Lord said he's going to consume all the sinners of the earth. Let me get that real quick. So we know that there's only a remnant of the righteous that's going to be delivered. Well, I don't want to say that. It's only a remnant of individuals in the earth that's going to be delivered, and that's only known as the righteous. And it's the book of Psalm, chapter 104 and verse 35. It says, let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. Bless thou Yahweh, O my soul, praise ye Yahweh. Right, so the Lord said the sinners are going to be consumed out of the earth, and that the wicked is going to be no more. Right, so that's 2/3 of our people, as well as all the heathen on the earth that bring forth evil each and every day. The Lord said, let me get this real quick. Yeah, this is the book of Psalm, chapter 7 and verse 11. Right, it says, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. So every day the Most High is angry with the wicked. Every day. You know, sometimes you wake up, maybe you had a nice dream. Maybe you whatever. You wake up to an alarm, right? You wake up damn angry or upset. Sometimes that happens. Like, damn, I gotta go to work. Damn, I gotta get up, man. That sleep was feeling good. And that's on a low level. The Most High says each and every day he's angry with the wicked. Each and every day. And the Lord doesn't need to wake up. He doesn't need to wake up out of his sleep. Right? He's always keeping watch. He's always on fire. He's a spirit. He doesn't need to sleep. Right? But for you to understand, you can see that sometimes you may wake up upset, right? But the Most High each and every day, he's angry with the wicked. Let's get another precept on these missiles. Let's go to the book of Psalm, chapter 64, and I'm going to get verse 7. It says, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So the Most High said he's going to shoot off these arrows in the earth. He tell you in 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter, verse 1 on down to 4, that, if he were to send out these arrows and missiles and fire and destruction in the earth, who's going to turn it back? So we just saw that video of those different missiles that was launched, one after another, in a continuous cycle. The Most High, he's going to have that happen in the earth with all these heathen destroying themselves. But it's going to be with these nukes. Back to this article, America actually, I want to get one more precept, right? One more precept on this. America is going to destroy themselves with these different nuclear missiles, right? All these heathen, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 26. It says, and he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and will hiss unto them. It says, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. Right? So all the nations are going to be gathered together swiftly. Right? They all going to be gathered together swiftly. Let's read on. It says, none shall be weary, nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep. Neither, because there's always something going on. Right? Remember, they do military operations in the middle of the night. They have the night vision goggles. They're out there. They have different shifts, right? You got men that's doing things in the daytime. You got them doing things in the night, so on and so forth. It's going to be great destruction. The Lord said they're going to slumber nor sleep. Let's read on. It says, none shall slumber nor sleep. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loose, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. whose arrows are sharp and all their bows bent. It says their horses' hooves shall be counted like flint and their wheels like a whirlwind, right? Because when they're flying these fighter jets that carries these different nuclear missiles and different tactical missiles in the earth, right? The Lord said it's going to be, it says their horses' hooves shall be counted like flint and their wheels like a whirlwind. I mean, they're going to be moving swiftly to bring great destruction upon the earth. And they've been doing it. There's been the war in Iraq that started in 2003. You know, well, it's other wars before that, of course. But that's a prime example of what modern day warfare is. Even made a game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And in that game, it's showing you the different missiles and the different tactical procedures that they bring out, right, to destroy different nations. Like that video I just showed you, that's just a small glimpse of what's going to happen in the earth. Let's read on. It says they're roaring, meaning the roaring of these missiles. Their roaring shall be like a lion. They shall roar like young lions. Yea, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver it. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the land, behold darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. Now let's go back to this. Right? Let's go back to this. Because when they first launched these damn missiles, you can hear the sounds that it brought forth. Let's play this. Slock it. I believe I'm okay, there we go. Still getting the hang of the StreamYard. Still getting the hang of the StreamYard. You know, let's check it out. Listen to that sound. Hold on, let's all praise to the Most High. This is coming very soon, Esau. Right to a neighborhood near you.
America's M270 rocket launcher.
Now that sounds like some roaring to me, right? Again, this is the best way, because Isaiah, you know, he wasn't writing down, okay, they're going to launch missiles. What is these called? Missiles from America's M270 MLRS. I'm not writing that. Remember, we in the year 2024 AD. Isaiah was around during the time of 760 BC. We're talking about 2,700 years ago, 2,800 years ago.
Rockets have been a staple of land warfare for centuries, but it wasn't until the latter half of the 20th century that they became a permanent addition to the U.S. Army's arsenal. Ironically, the Army's program to develop multiple battlefield rocket artillery to fight the Soviet Army.
Now let's look at one more, right? One more, because we're going to wrap it up from this after that. Let's look at a nuke launch. Let's check this out. Just for those that maybe have, you know, never checked this out, just to further go into this, right? Because when you're on highways and byways, you can't pull up a video and try to go into it. You can't do that. But that's why these sit-down lessons is very beneficial to be able to further, it's like a classroom, so that everyone's on one page, one accord, right? We can make it plain upon tables. It's a blessing to have YouTube and StreamYard and these different things in these last days to further push this gospel. Now, there's another platform they can use is a nuclear submarine. Right? I believe you can get real close to your enemy. Now they have different sonar, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what you call it. The sonar scan, so they can see if there's a nuclear submarine nearby. Right? But let's check it out.
Боевая тревога. Боевой курс 80, глубина 45 метров, держать ход 4,5 узла.
I'm about to say this sound Russian. All right, we don't want to watch them run. Do all that. Just go and press the button.
Товарищ контролер номер 1. Шахты номер 1.
It's
Замечание
given the
нет.
launch code. You can see what a scripture would say that's a star. You can see what a scripture would say that's a arrow. Right? Let's continue. You can hear the roaring that comes from these different missiles when they're launched. All praise to the Most High. Right, so Lord willing, we get the point. Lord willing, we get the point. So we can go back to this article. Right, let's go back to this article. So again, it says, continuing on this article, it says the disclosure comes in a wake of warnings that NATO countries need to ready their citizens for war with Russia. And we covered this. If you haven't checked it out, every Wednesday night, Lord willing, on the Cold Cuts channel, sometimes on the backup channel, WFI Backup. If you haven't subscribed, definitely check it out. But we do every Wednesday night. We're as well as other brothers, Nikequam, Araya, Yardan, brothers get into different prophetic updates. Even the brothers of Abba Allah. But every Wednesday night, we're trying to, Lord willing, stick to strictly prophecy and the updates that's happening in the earth. So we covered that the NATO countries is planning to go to war. There's even leaked documents from one of the sources that we had over, a German document that shows that they're planning for war with Russia, starting sometime around February of this year and ending in May of next year, 2025. So that's upon Esau's time scale. Right? That's upon one of the things that they looking at. Let's continue on. It says last week, Admiral Rob Borer, a senior NATO military official, said that private citizens should prepare for all-out war with Russia in the next 20 years that will require wholesale change in their lives. Meaning your life is going to be completely turned upside down. And even though I just mentioned that they have in their time scale, they have about a year. They're saying, all-out war by May of 2025. Over here, he's saying in the next 20 years, right, it should be all-out war with Russia. This is what he want to put out to the public. The other one was a classified document that was leaked. Now, even in a year, 20 years, 100 years, all of that is on man's time scale. See, with the Lord, with the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, we don't know the day nor hour that these things are going to take place. All we can do is continue to watch. The Lord continues to put signs in the earth, and it's our job through our being servants, right? Being stewards, right, of the Most High God. We got to continue to keep watch and see the things that's happening and link it up with the scriptures. And while we linking up with the scriptures, we can see how much closer we are to the end. That's what the Lord said. Let's get this. I'm going to get this real quick. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 5. Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So if you're using wisdom, you can discern time in the earth. If you're using wisdom, you can discern judgment in the earth. If you're using wisdom, you can see that things are about to continue to kick off and will continue to kick off in these last days. And this is just this article. I mean, this is one of the things, we have to look forward to, but there's some more things happening in America right now, especially this border crisis and all of that, and how it's going to tie in to us, right? How it's truly going to tie into us. We'll talk about that in a second after we finish this article. So it says, General Sir Patrick Sanders, the head of the British Army went on to warn that the public would need to be caught up to fight if there was war with Russia because the army was too small. See, these Americans and British, they're not really ready. They can't really tangle with the beast, the true beast, Russia. And how they going to take down America? They're not going to be able to do that. They can't stop this. You should never put out that your army is too small. Let's be real. If this is on man's time scale and they can see, okay, y'all putting out to the public that your army is weak, your army is small, well, what's stopping me tomorrow from sending all my troops and taking you over? That's the foolishness of these Edomites. These are base people, like the Lord says, that he set up over us. It says, his comments forced Downing Street to rule out conscription. Boris Johnson on Friday night backed Sir Patrick's call for a citizen army. What is a citizen army? That means a draft. So if you over in the UK, they may try to draft you. We have brothers in WFI Europe, most are willing, they stay 10 toes down and they don't get down with this citizen army. And if you over any part of UK or any part of Europe, and you're watching this video and you're a Hebrew Israelite, you believe in the Most High God, Yahweh, Yahushai, you better not get caught up in this citizen army, right? You got to fight against that. Because with the citizen army, at the end of the day, these are going to be the same civilians that's going to fight against the Lord Yahushai. When you read that in Revelation 19th chapter, right? So be cautious. If you're in the military right now, hey, brother, get the hell out. I got a brother that's over in he's in the Marines and he's about to get sent over to the Middle East. I'm talking to this brother. I'm letting him know for the past few weeks, brother, get out of there. Like, yeah, no, I appreciate you for, still being with the Lord. And I see you still doing your thing. Well, it's not my thing, brother. Right? I'm talking to him, letting him know you got to get out of there. I'm trying to see if he got any intel he can let me know. He can let me know they about to go deploy them and send them out. Now, I'm telling him, get out of there. And if you're a part of a military branch, whether you're over in America, whether you're in Europe and UK, wherever you at, hey, get out of there. Get out. Salakia. It says, as he pledged to sign up if the UK went to war with Russia. Now, I don't want to read this whole thing, but you can check the rest of this article out. Check the rest of the article out right here for you. There you have it. Now, let's go into the next thing I wanted to talk about. So this is the next thing. Now, hold on. Let's not get that just yet. Take 1 second. All right, let's not get that. But let's talk about this. So, like we mentioned, as you start in the title of the video, it says UK moves nukes to, or Slovakia, US moves nukes to UK and Texas civil war rumors continue. I'm gonna actually put this on the screen. You see that? Ancients knew, why don't we? Khan, get the hell out. Get out. Jackson Williams, Khan King, bring that out. All praise to the Most High. Get out of there. This Nahum Yasha'Allah, Shalom. Jeremiah 46 and verse 4, harness the horses and get up, ye horsemen, and stand forth with your helmets, furbish the spears, and put on the brigandines, right? Which is like cage vest when you're going out to war. So the Most High, he has the nations in that spirit of war, right? So let's close this. I don't want my screen to start lagging. I know how Esau like to do this. All right, let's go back to this. So it says there are now 25 states standing in solidarity with Texas in protecting its international border from invasion. 25 Republican governors signed on to a joint statement in support of Governor Abbott. Right, we talked about this on a Watchman Wednesday, and even following the brothers at Abba Allah on the same channel, he went a little bit more into it as well. So this, since that day, now that day, it was only on Wednesday, early Wednesday morning, it was 2 states. It was Texas and it was Oklahoma. Then later that day, it became 7 states. Texas, Oklahoma, I believe South Dakota, I think Georgia, right? Mississippi. I don't know if Mississippi was involved, but Georgia, Florida, I think Virginia. I believe it's just those states, right? In Arkansas. But since then, you have 25 states, 26 in total, with Texas that's pledging their allegiance. That's pledging their allegiance with Texas. So with that being said, you have today, 2 hours ago, you have supposedly there's volunteers from 27 different U.S. states. They're on their way to Texas right now. If this is an American Civil War, what is it? These Billy Bob Edomites, they've been waiting for this. They've been waiting for this. Men like this, Salakia. Men like this. Hold on. I want to hide that. There we go. Men like this, they've been waiting for this day. Right? He's ready. Got the body cam. Got his phone strapped up. Got it. Now, I'll say this. A few weeks ago, I had a dream that Donald Trump, he was up there. He was on a podium. And I spoke to a few brothers about this dream. But he was up there on a podium. And he was pretty much going against, he was saying, look, since America, they want to be against me, I'm going to be the most anti-American, and I'm going to create a new America. He was saying it like that. I'm going to create a new America. And all the Trump supporters, all the MAGA supporters, they were then throwing their hands up, and they were hyped. Now, I don't know if in the dream they had a new flag, right, or nothing like that. I forget. I don't know about that. But I do know he was saying he's going to be the most anti-American because America isn't America anymore. And he's going to create a new America within America. And that's something like we're seeing right now. Then the Lord said this was going to happen. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. Right? This is the book of Obadiah, Salakia. Right? Obadiah, verse 7. Right? And this is Obadiah, verse number 7. And it reads, it says, I'll start at 6. It says, how were the things of Esau searched out? Salakia. Okay, come on, we got another update. It says, how were the things of Esau searched out? How were his hidden things sought up? All the men, and we're able to search these different things out because the Lord is spilling all the secrets in these last days. The Lord told us that in the book of Daniel. Let's get that quick precept. We'll come back to Obadiah, of course, Lord willing. Let's get this in Daniel chapter 2. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse number 47. It says, the king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth, it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. So the Most High reveals secrets. He'll put you out on Front Street for all the world to see. And all the world is seeing America imploding in the face of everyone. Remember, that was one of the first key signs that Rome fell, or that Rome was starting to fall, was the infighting and the invasion that took place, right? From the barbaric tribes, Germany, right? The Goths coming through and invading. Let's continue on. Archelaus, I believe it's Archelaus the king, right? One of the Goths, he came over and he started that fighting over in the early 300s. And by 417, there was another invasion that took place over in the Western Roman Empire, 417 AD. But let's continue. Obadiah, verse number 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. To be in confederacy, meaning you're joined, you're in a league with each other. And we know that's applying to Lord willing, share my screen. We know that's applying to all the different nations that's joined hand in hand with America, like NATO, right? To all the different countries that join the board, the EU. But a confederacy, it says a union of persons. Hold on. Let's make this little, there we go. It says a union of persons, parties, or states, a league. Right? A league, the persons, parties, or states join in such a union the Confederate States of America, right? The Confederate States of America. And if you didn't know, the Confederate States of America is really those of the South. The Confederate States of America, which is a actual republic that took place during that Civil War that started in 1861, which ended around it says May 1865. Hold on. Let's look at this. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. Let's read this. The Confederate States of America, commonly referred to as the Confederate States. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can. I can't really do that like that. Hold on. We don't want that. Go back. I want to see if I can slide the screen over a little bit, but we can't. So Lord willing, you can see this. It says the Confederacy or the South was an unrecognized breakaway republic, meaning it broke away from America, as you know, right? I believe 1812. All of the states that was of America were all joined together, but around 1861 it really kicked off, where it actually became its own republic, its own country within another country. It says in the southern United States that existed from February 8th, 1861 to May 9th, 1865. Now, today is January 27th, 2024. We want to see if these things were to continue on and what it's going to look like in February, what it's going to look like in March. Remember, Passover is April 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. The first month it begins in April, right, of the new year. So you definitely want to keep watching these days, right? These coming days ahead. Because again, there was a republic that was formed, the Confederate States of America, right? The South joining amongst each other, just like you're seeing right now. Maybe I'm not making it plain enough. Just like you're seeing right now, where the South is joining pretty much hand in hand, those 25 states that's joined with Texas. This took place in February of 1861. So it says the Confederacy comprised 11 U.S. states that declared secession. Secession meaning they left from America. Same thing as you're seeing 25 states, well, 26, including Texas, secede from the U.S. government. It says in war against the United States during the American Civil War. So this is plain. I mean, this is what's happening right now. We're seeing this is what's the start of all of this that's going on. Let's go back and share the screen again. This is what things like this is looking like. Volunteers meaning what? Militias. Militias, U.S. militias, civilian militias from 27 states are on their way to Texas. Remember, this is 2 hours ago, 5:42 a.m. I wanted to make the video back then, but the Lord didn't allow that to happen. It says constitutional crisis unfolding. Stand with Texas, Civil War, Supreme Court failed America again. So let's go back over here. Now, I think I had something else I want to show. Well, let's read this precept again. This is the book of Obadiah in verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. This is all about a border crisis. Supposedly there were 6 million migrants that not only came from, of course, Northern Kingdom lands as far as South America, right? Mexico. They're trying to say that's not what they're really concerned about. Although we know that is a huge part of the problem, but they're saying that's not only what they're concerned about. They're concerned that Arabs are coming in illegally. They're concerned that Chinese is coming in, Russia's coming in, right? There's a channel you could check out called Redacted on YouTube. Recently, about a few days ago, they broke down. They have different, intelligence. So there's a guy that's over in the Panama Canal, right over in Panama, and he's been reporting for the past few years, really, on the different people that's coming in. and how the different how Amalek, the Jewish man, has set up these different checkpoints for people to pass through and get to America. So they're funding a lot of this. Of course, Amalek is. That's what they do. If you didn't know, they run America. If you didn't know, they run the world, right? Let's continue on. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread. And we know these that's leaving America right now. Let's go back to this. These different states. Oh, I don't want this one. Hold on. Right? These different states, these 25 states with Texas, they all eat the same bread of America because they're U.S. states. And now, out of nowhere, then they want to turn against America, right? The federal government, Biden. This is your man. This is your right-hand man. How you going to leave him now? We're all praise to the Most High. The Lord's put in the spirit of Governor George Abbott, but shame on you at the same time. You leaving your own people. Esau, right? We know that's supposed to happen, though. We're going to get some more, right? There's more precepts on this, Lord willing. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him, right? There's no understanding in Esau. Because surely it would be wise not to break up and fight against each other. It would make way more sense if you really wanted to rule his world to be all on one accord and fight against the other nations. Wouldn't that make sense? Why the hell would you break up your empire? All praise to the Most High. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All praise to the Most High. All praises. That's a perverse spirit. Evil. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, and I want to start at verse number 10. It says, yet the defense city shall be desolate. America is a defense city. You got National Guard that's taking care of the western, the Pacific side, right? The West Coast. You got the National Guard, the Coast Guard. It's on the East Coast. You had the Border Patrol on the southern front, Salakia, right? The damn southern front. You have National Guard on the north, right? In the border of America and Canada. But let's continue. So it's defensed. We know this. It says, shall be desolate. So the Most High is going to make this land desolate. It's going to be overthrown and overrun. And the habitation forsaken and left like a wilderness, there shall be, Slakia, there shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. So the Most High is not going to show you no favor, right? It's going to be completely overthrown. How do you have an invasion taking place in America? Do you think we would have had an invasion in Jerusalem, or we're going to have an invasion in New Jerusalem? No, you're going to have, right, before we're built up and established. Tells you that in Ezekiel the 38th and 39th chapter, you're going to have Gog and Magog. They're going to try to think they can come up against us, and they're going to be put to flight and destroyed and grabbed up as slaves. That's what the Lord said. So it's not going to be that type of, not going to have that type of time going on. Most of our guys, he's not playing those type of games. See, these are carnal beasts that don't know how to run a country. How are you in discord? And it's terrible. That's madness. Isn't the Pledge of Allegiance so-called one nation under God? It's one nation under God, indivisible. All of that's just lies. You're not one nation, right? You're a melting pot of different nations mixed together. Esau, Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, Elam. We hate them Elamites. We hate all them nations, but especially the damn Elamites. But all the different nations are gathered over here in this filthy melting pot known as Babylon the Great. So it's not one nation. Indivisible, meaning you can't break it apart. We seeing this happening right now. You got it right here on your screen that it's breaking apart. All Esau do is lie. All he do is lie. Supposedly we got to pay taxes, but the taxes is owned by a separate company known as the IRS, which has nothing to do with the federal government. Oh, hold on now. Right? What the hell is going on? Supposed to be an oil crisis. The damn gas prices has risen up the past few years. Over in, I think, California, it was up to like $7 or $10. Now, out of nowhere, as if the war ended between Russia and Ukraine, and there's no more, as if the Arabs are now aboard with America, the gas prices are going back down. But why was the gas prices just going up a few years ago or a year ago? They just like to play games and lie to you. How many lies are they going to continue to do in the earth before the Most High overthrows them? This is one of their last lies, right? Because this is not about no damn border crisis. This is not about other nations coming to the land. Remember, they let these nations come into the land freely. Soon as the Chinese man gets off the boat, what happens? They got a Chinatown. Soon as the Arabs come over here, what happens? They got a gas station already set up for them. Already got a 7-Eleven. How you come to America yesterday, and today you got a 7-Eleven in a Dunkin' Donuts, in a convenience store? How? Because America is joined hand in hand with these different nations. So we're going to really reveal to you what this is all truly about. This so-called border crisis is really about you, Israel. It's all really about you. All of this is really about you. Why? Because it's one of the things that they use known as a false flag, a false narrative. It's all about a false narrative. Now, 9 hours ago, it says a man died after he stole a plane from an airport in Addison, Texas. Then he crashed it near the Texas-Oklahoma border on Wednesday. Now, let's check this article out real quick. Right? Because how the hell did he get a plane? He just snuck in, stole a plane, and crashed it. I got a document I want to show you, Lord willing. But let's read this real quick. It says, a man died after he stole a plane from an airport in Addison, Texas. Then he crashed it near the Texas-Oklahoma border Wednesday, officials said. Right? It says, the Texas Department of Public Safety said the plane Cessna 172 was stolen from the ATP flight school at Addison Airport, about 15 miles north of downtown Dallas. The pilot, identified by the DPS as Logan Timothy James, who's 23 years old, of Stokesdale, North Carolina, then flew the plane more than 80 miles northeast towards Paris, Texas, before it crashed near the site or state border, Slovakia. It says Addison Airport told the station that the plane departed the airport at 6:53 p.m. Wednesday. It went down about 8:26 p.m. local time in an open field 9 miles northeast of Telephone, Texas. James was the only person on board, the DPS said. Now, let's just put this out there. Knowing there's a border crisis, why the hell, where's the security, the public safety or the security for the ATP flight school? This is just a coincidence that just randomly happened the exact same time that all hell is breaking loose in Texas. See, what they wanted him to do is maybe they wanted him to do something with this plane and really cause an uproar in the land. Because imagine he crashed his plane into Washington, D.C. or back in Times Square again, like it happened in 2001. Wasn't there so-called Arabs that got into the land, went over from San Diego, hijacked the plane, took that plane and I believe it was San Diego and other parts of the United States, took it, they crashed in the PA, they crashed in the Pentagon, and they crashed 2 different planes over in Washington. It's like in Times Square, New York, right? The damn Twin Towers, the World Trade Center. So this looked like a false flag is about to happen, right? But now let's really get into it. Let's show this. So now, supposedly, the FBI staff says there's something that's about to happen. Now let's go into this thing. Yeah, maybe you checked this out already. Maybe you came across it. A brother, he had shared this to me yesterday, the brother Yatazma, right? And going into it, this thing gets a little interesting. So let's check this out. Lord willing. Come on. Lord willing, we can go ahead and damn, I wish I could get this better. This is not where we want to be at with it. I don't know if we can make this better. Hold on. Wait, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix this. I want to make that better. Let's stop sharing the screen. Reshare it again. Give me 1 second. Okay, this may be better, Lord willing. This is slightly better. It's not completely there, but it's slightly better. Actually, I gotta get this better. Salaki. It's not trying to be a perfectionist, but I do want this better. Lord willing, so you can see this. See if I can download these. No, I probably can't do that. All right, we just gotta deal with it. All right, Lord willing, you can see the screen. If you gotta zoom in, if you have an iPhone, you can zoom in on a YouTube app. If not, most are willing, you can check this out. This is Big Fish 3000 on Twitter. So you can check this out. I don't think he was the first person to post this, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. So I'll read it to the best of my ability. I can see it, but Lord willing, you can see it as well. All right, so this is someone that's writing this to the Speaker of the House, which is Mike Johnson. He's actually he's on board with Texas and his allies right now, right? So this is January 17, 2024. January 17, 2024. Right? And it says the subject, the United States is facing a new and imminent danger. Dear Mr. Speaker, Senate Majority Leader and Chairman. Actually, hold on. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 quick second. I can fix this. Lord willing. Okay, calm. All praise to the Most High. All right, let's actually hold on. Let's do this. Okay, calm. All right, let's do this now. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Got it pulled up. All praise to the Most High. And the water for the patience. Right? Salakia. All right, so I'm sharing my entire screen and I got this pulled up. Okay, there we go. All right. That's a little bit better. So it says the United States is facing a new and imminent danger. It says, "Dear Mr. Speaker, Senate Majority Leader and Chairman, as former senior executives of the FBI with deep experience combating dangers to the nation, we write to express our concern about a current specific threat that may be one of the most pernicious ever to menace the United States. The danger arises from the nature of the threat itself. Wars and espionage and bombings and riots are sadly familiar delivery systems of instability, intimidation, and insecurity." Now, let's continue on because it's some more on this, right? It's some more. Let's continue on with this. Right. So it says has faced these and more throughout its history and has held together, though not without struggle. The threat we call out today is new and unfamiliar. In its modern history, the U.S. has never suffered an invasion of the homeland, and yet one is unfolding now. Military-aged men from across the globe, many from countries or regions not friendly to the United States, are landing in waves on our soil by the thousands, not by splashing ashore from a ship or parachuting from a plane, but rather by foot across a border that has been accurately advertised around the world as largely unprotected with ready access granted. It says it would be difficult to overstate the danger represented by the presence inside our borders of what is comparatively a multi-division army of young single adult males from hostile nations and regions whose background, intent, or allegiance is completely unknown. They include individuals encountered by border officials and then possibly released into the country, along with a shockingly high estimate of gotaways, meaning those who have entered an invading apprehension. Right. So far they're trying to paint the narrative that is about, these heathen that's coming into the land. But it's making key points. First off, these are military-aged men. Now, I'll just put it out there. When I read this, I'm reading, thinking that I'm reading it knowing that ultimately they're going to try to tie us in somewhere, some way, somehow, right? And for them to mention about the part about the military-aged men, to go into a military, you normally, 18, anywhere between 18 up to 50 years old. Further than that, you're going to be high-ranking different officials and so on and so forth, right? But we know for the men that's in these camps, we will be classified as military-aged men, right? We'll be classified as military-aged men, but let's continue. It says, in light, hold on, this is what I wanted. Yeah, it says, in light of a daunting, unprecedented penetration by uninvited foreign actors, it is reasonable to assert that the country possesses dramatically diminished national security at this time. The nation's military and laws and other natural protective barriers that have provided traditional security in the past has been thoroughly circumvented over the past 3 years. In 2021, the demographics of those crossing the porous southern boundary started to shift. Young men from around the world traveling alone and holding questionable motivations dramatically increased in number to become the most common profile of those breaching the nation's borders. A startling number has been found on a terrorist watch list, the terrorist watch list, and are from countries designated as state sponsors of terror, distinctly unfriendly to the United States. Let's continue. This is particularly alarming in light of the Hamas terrorist attack. Oh yeah, and by the way, today is so-called the Holocaust Day, right? Where there was a, what they say, some 6 million Jewish Amalekites were tortured and things happened to them. Can't say certain words. Things happened to them during so-called Holocaust, right? So keep that in mind too. As you go about, and maybe you in a congregation and you may be going out there teaching today, keep that in mind on what potentially could be something that kicks off today, potentially, right? So it says this is particularly alarming in light of the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel last October. Those of us who have fought terrorism know that historically successful terror attacks invite mimicry, meaning what? They think there's going to be an attack that's going to happen. We know as well that terror leaders intentionally cultivate throngs of young men possessing a certain easily manipulated personality type to carry out atrocities. It is stark to say so, but having a large number of young males now within our borders who could begin attacking gatherings of unarmed citizens in imitation of October 7th, that's the new thing, 10/7. It used to be 9/11, now it's 10/7. And at the behest of a foreign terror group must be considered a distinct possibility. We would be remiss not to call out this potentially grave threat in the most direct terms. So they want to be plain as day with it. But at the same time, Esau speaks with two tongues. So as they may be talking about men from other nations coming in, keep in mind that we already considered on their terrorist watch list. We already on a Southern Poverty Law Center. We're already deemed a hate group. In the 60s, the FBI, the same people that's writing this article you see before you, they said that the Black Panther Party was a greater threat than China and Russia combined. They said the Black Panther Party was the greatest threat to American soil. That's the Black Panthers. Were they teaching about the Lord? Were they teaching about Yahweh and Yahweh Shai? Were they teaching that the other nations are going to go in slavery? Were they teaching the different things that's prophetic and letting you know what's going to happen next in the world to come? They weren't teaching those things, but they were considered the greatest threat. How much more us today? So they may put this little article together talking about the other nations, but truly this is just to show you that if this is a heightened thing, how much more us who's been out here teaching since the 60s, since 68, 69, over in the original School of One West, over in Harlem, New York. How much more the hatred that they had against us from the beginning, as it tells you in Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14. I don't want to be long-winded, which is live, but I definitely want to show you the updates of what's happening right now on the earth. So it says, the warning lights are blinking, and yet this very real concern does not seem to be getting the focus it logically deserves. It says the director of the FBI has correctly assessed an elevated threat level since October 7th. Now I want to show you something about that too. Right, we're gonna go into it. I got one more thing I gotta show you. But relatively little discussion has followed, highlighting unsecured borders as a significant cause of this increasingly dangerous environment. It is a troubling concern that needs illumination. That's saying again. Right, these alarms. It is a troubling concern that needs illumination, not avoidance. Now, hold on. It's the last one right here. Last one on this. It says any violation of the nation's immigration laws increases risk but the surge in numbers of single military-age males descending upon American cities and towns is alarming and perilous. The Lord said we in perilous times. Additionally, they are not just from terror-linked regions, but from China and Russia as well. Hostile adversaries of the U.S. with aspirations to devastate national infrastructure. For these reasons, elements of this recent surge are likely no incident, it's like an accident or coincidence. These men are potential operators in what appears to be an accelerated and strategic penetration, a soft invasion. A soft invasion designed to gain internal access to a country that cannot be invaded militarily in order to inflict catastrophic damage if and when enemies deem it necessary. This new reality, this never before, it's like a never seen before threat, deserves greater attention. So let's just say right here, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, the CIA, they're saying that this thing is so important that it's upon these different American cities, and they're going to watch more closely in these American cities. Well, us Israelites, we teach in all of the chiefest American cities, all the chief cities of the world. Brothers teaching in Europe, right? Brothers teaching over here in Chicago, LA, New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, right? Atlanta, Houston. We're not talking about this congregation. There's other congregations, of course, and they know this. They like I said, they have us on a Southern Poverty Law Center. And there's something else. They've been even monitoring the numbers of us joining these camps. There's an article I'm going to show you that they literally, since December, well, at least they posted in December, they've been monitoring and trying to figure out how many of us is in these camps. Because they know the prophecy that it has to be 144,000 elect men sealed. So let's continue on with this. It says the borders need to be secured against these young men, and those already here illegally must be identified and removed without delay. So now what that's telling you, they're going to start grabbing people up, and they can say you was illegally brought over here. They can revoke your social security and say, look, you was never in the system. They have movies like that. The Born Identity. That's what it's all about. Supposedly he was with America. Then he's a public enemy number one. They took away his entire identity, entire identification, and now he's a what is it called? A spy, espionage, right? Part of the Espionage Act, right? Meaning he's it's another word I wanted. What the hell is it called? Treasoner, right? He's a part of treason. He's against the country. And that's one of the crimes that was placed upon Yahushua. Considered treason against the Roman Empire. Isn't this Rome again? Under treason, you can get the death penalty. Just yesterday or a few days ago, they had passed, I believe, if not Mississippi, then Arkansas, one of those southern states, maybe even Alabama. I don't know. I forget exactly. But they just passed a new death penalty or a new way they could kill you using nitrogen gas. Right? So just keep all these different things in mind. But let's continue on. It says, this will take the coordinated cooperative efforts of the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and the rest of the intelligence community to achieve. We encourage these actions and much greater congressional attention to this threat. The country has been invaded. It says it has been invaded. An invasion that will continue as long as the nation's enemies perceive it will be tolerated. Until it is stopped, the United States is extraordinarily less safe and secure. Knowing all of this, it would be a shameful travesty if some terrible attack, a preventable attack, were to occur against innocent Americans or the infrastructure that keeps the nation safe and functioning. The government will have failed grievously in its duty to protect. Sincerely, Kevin Brock, who's the assistant director of the FBI, Chris Swecker, if I said that right, who's the assistant director as well as the FBI, of the Criminal Investigative Division of the FBI. There's another one. You got this guy, Timothy Haley, who's a terrorist screening center. You got Jordy Weiss, who's a special agent in charge of Philadelphia. And we've been seeing a lot of activity over in Philly. There's been a lot of counter-terrorism vans that literally sit in front of our camp, both on the east side and the west side of us teaching. Sometimes they right across from us. It's been going on for the past 2 months. It also says Milwaukee. So a special agent in charge of Milwaukee, right? Tennessee, right? LA, Timothy McNulty, right? I think I saw Chicago up here somewhere. Thought I saw Chicago early. Oh, yeah. Superintendent, Chicago Police Department. Oh, this guy right here, Jordan Weiss. But all in all, the point, what I want to show you in this one was that they think it's about to be a threat. They're saying the land has been invaded, and they think it's going to be young military men to do so. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen with this, and I'm going to go and pull up this last article for you that I had. And yeah, I know the brother, I believe Nightquam, he does the WFI law school. I don't know if he's going live this morning, but I don't want to be too much longer with this. I'm going to get a quick precept. Right? Slaki. Get another precept on this. Let's go to the book of and what's that precept I want? Let me get this. Just the book of John, St. John chapter 15. St. John chapter 15. And I'll start at verse 19. St. John chapter 15 and verse 19. And it reads, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because you're not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So remember, the world has to hate us. As they hated our Lord Yahushua, and they got to hate us as well. Now, there's different things that's been happening, but it's not necessarily a combination of combining all these different things together. Right? It's been different events that took place. Them labeling as Black Hebrew Israelites, a terrorist group, BHI, even Black BIE, Black Identity Extremists. All these different events that's been taking place throughout the time of America. Even, I don't know if you noticed, but following the Civil War, right, 1861, well, really 1865, you had one of the first men who had I forget his name, so I don't want to misquote him, but I believe his name was William something, right? One of the brothers, he was one of the first brothers that was quote unquote enlightened, right? The Most High revealed to him that he's a Hebrew Israelite, and from there he started his church. He was over in I believe he was in the South, North Carolina, Virginia, and then through process of time he started a few different churches in Philadelphia. Then you have the Commandment Keepers. Then you have Abba Bivens, right? Some people call them Abba Bivens, but you had, through process of time, you have into the point where you have the original School of One West, different men and congregations that went off, right, and was jammed up in extortion. Forget the one brother that took place over in the 80s in Florida. The wicked man, wicked Negro. But you have these different events. Even Martin Luther King, his mother, was killed by someone that was saying that they were Hebrew Israelite. Go and look that up. Martin Luther King's mother was killed by some crazy bugged out Jake that said that the Lord pretty much revealed to him that he had to go kill this woman, Martin Luther King's mother. And that was a big thing. Big all over, headlines. Martin Luther King's mother killed by a Hebrew Israelite. So you had these different events that were staged. But there's going to be a bigger event that's going to go down, right? And we know this because that's what the scripture is saying, that we got to be hated of all men, right? Let's read on. Verse 20. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is, and that happened too. That happened in 171 BC under Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. You have an event that was staged in 64 AD. during Nero, where he blamed the Israelites and said that they had a false, it was a false flag. He burned up one of the cities and pinned it on the Israelites. And then from there, who died in AD of 64? You had the church leader, Peter. He was killed. Paul was killed. A lot of Israelites were rounded up and killed after a false flag attack in 64 AD under Nero. So this is not, it's not a coincidence that through the spirit you can see that it has to be something like that again, given that we're about to enter in the third abomination of desolation. They have to use an excuse to go and get us. It's not just going to be the lights is out and they're just going to come grab us up. It could go down like that. I'm not the Most High. I'm not the Most High. But let's continue on. Verse 20. It says, remember the word that I said unto you, this servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So the Lord said they kept his saying. Meaning what? They watched his words carefully. They sent spies. You understand? They try to record all the Lord's words and use it against them and bear false witness against Yahushua. They got different AI programs that can say, look, we did this, we said this. They can do whatever. They can literally stage an event and it didn't really happen. And they can make it seem like it happened, right? Like that attack in 9/11. They can make it seem like it happened and use different computer programming and say, look, we just blew up a building. Hebrew Israelites, they got bombs, they got this, they got that. Or they can just send in false brethren unaware and actually do it, wearing certain clothing and wearing fringes. Exactly. The deep fake, they got something like that. They literally got programs where it's acting like people are talking and saying things and it's not really them. So Esau got so many different tactics they can use, but best believe they're going to try to use some. Now, this is the last thing I want to show you real quick. Last thing I want to show you, right? Now, this is, I found this interesting, right? This is December 6, 2023. This is a report by Charles Fane Lehman. Now, we're not going to read this entire thing. We're not going to read a lot of it at all, actually. But this is published by Manhattan Institute. Now, the Manhattan Institute is actually founded by Amalek, as if that was a surprise. It's Amalek. I'm going to show you. So I looked this up. I looked up who's funding, I did a little research on the Manhattan Institute. It says for policy research. So they do different policy research. Now, the two founders, one name is Anthony Fisher. The other is William J. Casey. Now, Anthony Fisher, so-called British, but William J. Casey that founded this, he's Jewish. He's Amalek. I'm gonna show you. He's also a part of. He's a former director of the FBI or the CIA. Salakia. He actually, at one time, it says in his capacity, he oversaw the entire United States intelligence community. So the guy that founded what I'm about to show you was a lead man from 1981 to 1987, the entire director of the Central Intelligence Agency. I believe, where did I see that he was Amalek? Somewhere in here, but you can, I don't want to go to, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me find this again. Saw this somewhere in here, right? I believe I saw this somewhere in here. But this guy, right? Nevertheless, he was one of the founders. Now, let's go back. Now, he's one of the founders. The president or the chairman, Salakia, of this Manhattan Institute is Paul Singer. Now, Paul Singer, let's go down here. It says Singer was born in 1944. He grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey, in a Jewish family. So this guy's Amalek for sure. right? He's the found. It's saying he's known to be a founder, but I mean, he's not. We just read that he's a president. He's a president or chairman right now of this reporting agency that's trying to figure out how many Hebrew Israelites are in these camps. And just like we saw in the border crisis, they're trying to estimate how many people have invaded the land, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it. And saying that it's pretty much been America's been invaded, and it's young military age men, right? Let's go to this. So they have different surveys and trying to figure out, again, like I said, who's in these camps. So it says obtaining and weighing the survey to investigate the intent and correlates of the BHI ideology. A survey was fielded on the Qualtrics platform between July 11th and July 14th of 2023, collecting a total of 1,600 responses. In that period, 1075 self-identified Black or African Americans respondents. Hereafter, just Black were collected, right? So it's going to go into the different surveys they took, and they pretty much were trying to estimate how many Hebrew Israelites are in America right now. It says estimating the Black Hebrew Israelite population. What makes someone a Black Hebrew Israelite? The question is more complicated than it might seem. In order to be a BHI, does someone need to identify as a BHI or just hold BHI beliefs? If so, which BHI beliefs? Right. So we're not gonna go into this whole thing. I didn't really want to go into the whole thing, but I just wanted to show you that they've been doing research on you, that they've been trying to calculate us, right? And we know we has a sand of the sea. It'll be foolish to think that all Israelites are Black. So of course their report is going to be inaccurate, right? But tying all this in, and like I said, you can check out this entire article. It's actually a good article to check out. I didn't read the whole thing. I checked out a little bit of it. But essentially, they just want to figure out how many of us is inside America right now and how to stop us, right? And this is Amalek that made this article. So we would be foolish not to keep watching these last days. When your oppressor Esau has been keeping watch over you. The Lord said that we in the last days and it watch it for us. So I don't know how many different events need to happen for us to really be on fire and keep watch. If you got to hop into a fast tonight to get your spirit right, hop into a fast tonight. If you need to do it right now, do it right now. If you got to do it 3 days this upcoming week to get back right, and you got to do what you got to do. Because at the end of the day, all your works, whether wicked or righteous, is going to be laid out before you. And that's going to be the determining factor. And of course, the grace of the Most High, if you were to make it unto the kingdom to come. Or if you're going to be burned up with all these wicked Edomites and all these heathen that's been coming against us since the beginning of time. So I want to get this closing precept. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 5. It says, thus say Yahweh, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. And end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. So the Lord said an evil is coming on the earth. Only evil is coming on the earth. You understand? It's only going to be more destruction that's going to happen in the earth. It's only going to be more of these different potential attacks and different false narratives that's going to happen, right? The Lord said, the end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee. So the end of the world has been watching for you. How much more are you watching for the different signs that's happening and making yourselves fit for the battle? With that, of course, we're going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Shemashak, woman like it was shy. His brother Gesadia from W5 Jersey, Philly. Kwame Sharala, keep watching these last days. Shalom.